WTF. The last 4 times this happened, stocks crashed. So is this time going to be any different? Specifically, what we're looking at here is the close of a quarter. So that's Q4, 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 Q4. And after that, we basically bottom, which means stocks have a little bit of a crash. It's 10% 3 out of 4 times, and we already had our 10% drop. So is this time different? Or are we going to get an end of quarter boost? That's going to happen on Monday. We're likely going to see window dressing, which means that people are going to pretend they own the good stocks the whole time. As of right now, the stocks not working are the mega caps. Out of the Magnificent Seven, 4 are not working. So when more than half the group is not working, they're not so magnificent. This is really important as we also think about a really interesting chart here. QQQ divided by DIA on a 3-month chart, or basically on a quarter. Are we going to hold this all-time high? Are we going to backtest and pass it? That's really important because after we had 2 negative quarters in a row, that's when stocks crashed in 2022. We have 1 negative quarter as of right now. So let's see what happens. So as of right now, Fed's cuts sent already stretched valuations even higher. What is Jerome Powell going to do this week? On the same token, as we already looked at the pattern that says it might be time for us to go lower into the month of October, well, this also says the same thing. We're overdue. It's been 288 days since we've had a 10% correction. On average, that happens 172 days, right? Every 172 days. As of right now, we're also sitting here at 21.4 PE, when normally 19 to 5 to 18 is where we would normally trade, which means stocks are a little bit overvalued. We're also going to get new support and resistance as we close the month of September out and go back into October. So what do we do this week? Because you might be wondering, all right, well, you've been bullish for a long time, but there's been an increasing amount of bear rhetoric in your videos. Yes, because I'm not blindly bullish. Let's open this up in another window because Jerome Powell is going to be talking on Monday. Okay, what's going on with the Zoom here? Jerome Powell talks on Monday. That'll be tomorrow, and that'll be at 1:55. He's going to be giving an address. Otherwise, it's really what happens on Thursday, but really Friday. If jobs are really the important thing right now, these numbers are going to be the most important ones this week. So Jerome Powell is going to kick the week off. He's going to be talking. It's not pre-recorded. And then on Friday, we want to see what the reaction is to these things here. So we're going to come back and look at a few more charts. Hopefully you understand this one now. But then finally, if we look here to the weekly chart, what do we note? Well, we have 3 higher lows and 3 higher highs, but we have 1 fail breakout. That fail breakout is really significant because if we look here to QQQ, we were within $1 of having that same thing repeat here. We have 3 higher lows and 3 higher highs, but we've also puked up about half our monthly gains. Is that all about window dressing? Is that all about people trying to pretend like they got the good stocks? That'll be important here. All right, let's push forward because we still got more stuff to go through. But hopefully at a high level, you have a plan for October already because we already gave you one, by the way. All right, let's push forward here. What was the next thing I had up here? All right, that's right. Jerome Powell is going to be talking at 1:55 on Monday the 30th, and he's going to be giving an economic outlook. He might make headlines. He might not. I think he might, though. So what do we do, right? Oh, my goodness. What do we do? Well, remember, the only thing that's for sure is that nothing is for sure. So what could happen? We could go up or we could go down. I think what really matters is what the $6.3 trillion decides to do. Are they going to keep shedding it and putting it into stocks? Or are they going to stay scared and not go into extreme greed? The last few times we had a big move, again, pop, flight, pop, pop, flight, pop, pop, flight, pop, to higher highs, higher highs, higher highs. Stocks went up. So I'm definitely saying we can go higher, but everybody's flip-flopping right now. Look at these shorts. 122,000 contract short, back down to 35. Everyone's flipping and flopping. And as of right now, we're trying to do one really important thing. Did I already show this picture? Yeah, I did. Let's close that out. Just want to make sure I got all my content out. All right, Jensen, I'll get to you in 1 minute, sir. Remember, the market is trading like a beach ball we're trying to hold underwater. So we talked about that. I'll just give you one more quick thing here. But again, I need to ask for a favor, please. If you guys don't mind, please considering to smash a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel if you're new here. Thank you very much ahead of time. So I've now shown you three different time frames and 3 things we're looking for. The last thing, again, just to try to get the prime pumped, right? Just meaning we want to get ready for what could happen later in the show. If we're trading like a beach ball underwater, we're likely going to break the 1-day chart before we break the weekly or the monthly. So the beach ball was held underwater, finally popped out. If it doesn't backtest and curl and bounce off this previous area, that means it's not really support. The beach ball fell back under the water. How far could it go? It could go down. On the weekly and monthly, there is significant room to the downside before we really break the chart. Look how far we've deviated from the 50 EMA. Look how far we are from it. Look at the space on the chart there. We get too far, crash, get too far, crash, get too far, mini crash, and then it crashed. Oh my God, is that what's going to happen? Well, we haven't actually run a test of the 50 MA since October of 2023. The thing I keep mentioning. So October of 23. Where's October of 22? October 22. Man, we're way below. We're on the 200 MA. That's all October 2022. Where's 21? All right, October 2021. Oh my goodness, we're all the way over here, all-time highs. I hope we're not setting up one of these, but again, I'm receptive to the idea of where true support is. It's not here. On the monthly, we have to also look down to roughly 510. That would be the area because we're still technically in a blue sky breakout over 480. Very last thing here. What happens if we come down to our long-term price? Are you going to be a wuss? Are you going to sell on the 200 MA? That's strong support. Remember that. All right, here we go. So we understand the daily, the weekly, the monthly. We're trading like a beach ball underwater. So if now, let's watch a quick clip here from.
Do you think the U.S. should back off on China trade sanctions? Do you think the restrictions are effective?
Well, we have to defer all of the policy making to the administration. They understand that the balancing national security versus the prosperity of American technology all over the world. We're exporting American technology, which is really terrific for the United States. That the world is built on NVIDIA, on American standards. NVIDIA is an American company, and our government and the administration would love to see us succeed. And so, finding the right balance is very difficult to do, but they're doing a wonderful job.
All right, so that was Jensen talking about sanctions. So he's going to say what he needs to. He's an executive, but China's urging local companies to not buy from NVIDIA. Remember, they got a company called Beer, and they're trying to IPO. So going back to the only thing that's for sure is that nothing is for sure. We could fall back below. I just told you the weekly and monthly are due for some back tests here. Let me make it very obvious for you now. Do I have any other slides in here? I got two more quick things I want to go through, but again, that beat. Like Jensen said, everyone, the demand is so great and everyone wants to be first and everyone wants the most, right? Yeah, buy it, baby. So if we're truly into the early stage or early adopters, which is where I believe we are for AI, this is what it basically says. There should be no issue with guidance from NVIDIA if there's truly an overwhelming amount of demand. Read the quote. It's what he's basically saying. So I think we can go to infinity and beyond. But it doesn't mean we can't go there if we're going to see a shift here. Again, look at that relative high. Look at the relative high. I'll get to that in 1 second here. So the last thing I want to talk about here was just before, ratcheting up support. So I've mentioned this before, but I'll do it again here. So let's snap the tool. As we're forming higher lows and higher highs, that's the area to defend. That's the area to defend as we form a new candle. Well, now we can't afford to drop more than 1%. And if we drop more than 1%, we're back below that beach ball area. The ball is back below water, right? That's not good. We got to look for true support, which is here on the moving averages. Oh my goodness. Are you ready for that? Because if we were to form a true higher low, that would be roughly here in the 50 MA in the uptrend. I'm ready for that. I don't want it to go there, but I'm ready for it. All right. Very last things here now. So if we think about what the rest of the world is doing, China's trying to fix a bad problem. They're likely gonna miss their targeted growth for 2024. Inflation's below 2% over in Europe. So is Jerome Powell going to crash the market? Let's see what he says tomorrow. And again, pause the video if you want to see how many cuts have happened so far this year. All right, they're cutting deep. Let's go. Property prices are climbing as well. You can see that right here, right? Apartments are starting to go back up as the Fed starts to ease. So that's good. Fed's already sent valuations really high. So now let's get to the last part of the show here. We got about 1 minute left. So friendly reminder that when we're into extreme greed, which we've not quite gotten to, but I'm expecting it to get there, we want to be managing risk. Managing risk means setting stops, raising stops, and trimming. Let's keep that in mind right now. Very last thing here. If we think about failed breakouts, strategy number 1 for all-time highs, or strategy number 2. Where is this here? Where's my strategy number 2? All right, strategy number 2, double top. I'm now ready. I just told you, if we ratchet up support, right, that's going to be here at, what's our monthly low? Our monthly low is currently 540. Are you ready for a 30-point drop? Are you ready for a 10% drop? Because I just showed you, historically in October, we crash. But we form a bottom into October. So if we form that bottom, are you going to be a wuss? Are you going to sell? because right now a 10% drop would be 57 points. So that would be, that's down to roughly 510. That would be a double bottom on 510. Are you ready for that? If we come down for a higher low, if you're not, you need to start getting ready for that right now. Be ready for strategy number 1 or strategy number 2. I am. I'm recalibrating right now. So as everyone else starts to rebalance, here's what we want to think about. Let's go QQQ divided by DIA. What does this chart really tell us? Let's go to a 3-month chart because I'm talking about the close of a quarter. Well, what I'm basically saying is that if I'm right about us being early into this move here, again, this part right here, what I expect as a key driver for my strategy and my thesis is that I want to see technology, which is QQQ, continue to outperform industrials. We have higher lows here. We're back testing what used to be resistance. If this is support, we should move off of here. We should move higher. Because remember, I also just told you, when we form 2 red candles in a row, these are quarterly candles or 2 consecutive 3-month periods of contraction where the NASDAQ is underperforming. It's not good because 2 led to a big drop here. That's January of 2022. What happened to SPY in January of 2022? Oh my God, that was like the big crash. Yeah, that was like the big crash. January of 2022. What? That's the bear market. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm going to leave it there. If you want to come hang out with me, do that at 9:15 a.m. If not, watch the video on the left, and happy weekend.